Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we watch shit and talk about it. Don't have an intro for these particular.
That was beautiful, Jake.
But we're gonna roll with that. I'm here with my co-host, the sneezing Mattson.
Better red than dead. I almost didn't get it in there.
and Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
We are here. We haven't done these in a while, but we're gonna do a news and upcoming episode. So we're going to tell you guys, it'll be brief and short, but we'll tell you what's coming for the month of November now that it's November 1st and we're recording this. And then we're going to talk about just some things that are happening in Hollywood and the big movies. So let's roll through our release schedule, gentlemen. So on November 7th, the first release in November will be Till, the movie about Emmett Till and his mother, more about his mother than him, but that story. Enola Holmes 2 will release on the 14th. We really enjoyed the first one, so we're going to do the second one on Netflix. Black Panther 2 will come out on the 21st. The 28th will be The Menu. And thanks to Charles, he in his vote chose the Menu and Till as our movies, so he saved you guys from having to do.
Thank you, Charles.
Pray for the devil. That was his other option. So,
and Alec, you should tell the listeners, how did Charles get to participate in that?
It's true.
Let's see. Oh, I know this one. Charles is our lovely patron.
Yep.
Ginge Cringe Diddle Warehouse.
Yep. And I love he put a comment on one of our recent YouTube videos where it was
GDW.
The Ginge Cringe Dildo Warehouse. I love it. I can't wait to see what name he chooses next. In addition to the movies, we have some TV shows coming through the month of November. We've started The Peripheral, the Amazon Prime release that comes out. We'll be doing that live on Mondays. You can catch up on the episode. If you don't watch us live on Monday, it will be available wherever fine podcasts are found on Tuesdays, or you can watch the video itself. Will still be up on YouTube or on Facebook that you can watch it anytime. On Thursdays, we're going to continue to do Andor through the 24th. So we've got those two we do live on Thursday for Andor. Again, you can listen on Fridays. If you're just listening to the podcast, or you can watch it on YouTube and Facebook. So those are the ways that you can watch us. That's what's coming in the month of November. I'm already starting to put together a list for December. We may have a quiet December because it's December, but then we got holidays and Christmas and all that fun stuff. But we'll figure something out.
JJ, I want to know, what are you most looking forward to this month for what we're watching?
I'm interested in the Black Panther movie just because I really enjoy Namor as a villain / anti-hero, and I think they're leaning more into the villain side of it. So what I've seen looks really cool from his perspective. I just hope they don't dick up the actual Black Panther story, but I'm also in the minority. Like, there's a lot of ridiculous fans that are pissed about the fact that they're not recasting for T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman, and I think it would be, I think it's early for that. I think there's opportunities, right? And I don't know that whoever becomes the new Black Panther in this movie, I don't think will stay that way for long. I think you'll start to see some changes through there, but I think it was, in that case, I think it was too early to replace him. I think it creates an intriguing storyline that Marvel hasn't had to deal with yet. So I think I'm really excited about that. And then I'm really excited about The Peripheral, continuing that. I think I mentioned it in our first review that it's sliding under the radar. A lot of people I don't think are talking about this show. So if you haven't seen it, you guys should go watch it. I know you two have, but anybody that's listening or watching, you should go watch it. It's an interesting show.
Yeah, so. I got to be honest, it may turn out to be the show of the year for me.
Yeah, it could be. House of the Dragon will be hard to overcome, but hell, Rings of Power will be hard. But I'm intrigued by this one a lot.
Alec, what about you?
I'm excited for The Menu.
I am too, though. I'm not gonna lie. It looks good.
What's it? So I was just looking that up again, and that one, I feel like I know exactly what to expect. It's like dinner and murder.
People for sport.
Yeah. After you fed them.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, I don't know why,
dinner and a
but-
show.
My
Dinner and a
generous side is coming out,
Yeah.
and I think that is really intriguing and cool. And from the preview, like, because there's a part in the preview where pretty much it's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah. Well, and it looks like there's like breaks. Like it's almost like there's a hunt in between each like
Each
because you do like eating like 9-course tasting menus and things like that. These high-end, expensive tasting extravaganza menus. So you have like 9, 10, 12 courses. So it looks like there's like somebody dies in between each course is my theory, because I love the part where they're singing happy birthday to the dude. Like that shit looks like the dark humor side. I'm excited for that movie because when he's like, you told him it was my birthday. Well, at the time it seemed like a really funny idea, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
yeah,
shit's
just
great.
the utter depravity is what I'm excited for.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, actually, I was going to say the menu for one, just because it looks like something I haven't seen before in a while, so I don't quite know what to expect, and I think that will be fun and different, and yeah, the dark humor there. I'm actually so excited about Andor. I know we're in almost, as we've called it, season 2 to an extent, but I think if the first 6 episodes, or is it the first 5? What are we at now?
Shit. What
think
are
eight.
we at now?
Well,
Episode
I think
9 comes out this week.
episode 6 was the one that ended crazily. Like if episode
Yeah.
6 is any good indication, I do expect this to end with a bang. And I am still really intrigued with that show and excited to see where they take it. So I'm hopeful where that goes. And then lastly, Black Panther needs to hit for me because Marvel, in my opinion, you guys know we are very happy we're done with She-Hulk. A lot of these other TV shows have just been kind of meh. And then even the last couple of things that I've seen in theaters, from the recent Doctor Strange to the most recent Thor movie, I just thought they were flops in my opinion. And from what I've seen, the preliminary reviews of Black Panther, looks like critics are excited. And personally, I really think Marvel needs this movie to hit in ways, because I've read a lot of Facebook comments to a lot of different movie blog posts, and people a little bit skittish about where Marvel's taking things, and this is something I think they need to hit on quite well.
I agree. I think this one and February with Ant-Man, I think are really going to be, they really need to show what's coming and really do
there you go. You
articulate
articulate it better than me. And that's a lot of I think that's where a lot of the fans in me, I'm more of a common fan, like the vision of, well, where are we going? What does this all mean? Because right now I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Alec and I talked a little bit before you hopped on tonight, where it was like, even I'm starting to feel a little bit of fatigue. And so it's like,
hey, we're riding their coattails, and it's like, look, like,
yeah,
Captain America's gone, Iron Man's gone, like, and they're hopefully not coming back, even though, but there's talk about is Tony Stark. Yeah, like you start, and that's when I get really scared, because it's like, well, shit, if they're going back to that, then we're really in trouble.
Well, if they're going where they're going, like, so the movie that ends phase 6, if you will, where they talk about because they've got this multiverse angle that they're running, and then the very last movie, the Secret Wars, if they do it even remotely similar to what the comics is, like, he'll have to come back, because it's massive amounts of all the same heroes, like these multiversal versions of these heroes that come and go to basically planet war. I mean, and that's what it is then they have to create basically one giant unified universe, so a multiverse piece or whatever it is. But so, I mean, it makes sense to me to have him be in a number of them in this fight if they go that direction. But what my fear is that they're like, shit, this isn't working, we'll bring him back on a more permanent basis. Because then I hate, that's the one thing about comic books that drives me crazy is look, I get you got to reboot it. You can't just get rid of the thing that keeps people reading comic books. But these are movies. Like, if you want to see them come back to life over and over and over and over and over, go read comic books. Don't put it in your movies and TV shows. So, yeah, I'm with you.
We'll see how that goes.
Yep.
On the flip side of things, in terms of the news, I think one of our listeners, and we just recently reviewed Black Adam, and it has one of the very interesting end credit scenes, and we've talked about it a little bit, but something I'm ecstatic about is Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. But then JJ, this is what I remembered. I was actually texting you because I sent you an article about looks like he's not coming back in The Witcher for season 4, and wanted you to kind of talk to the audience about what your thoughts are there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, that's the first thing is he's not going to have time because of Superman. You know what? Look, when you think about, go back to Marvel for a second, and you think about Robert Downey Jr. This guy was in like every bloody Marvel movie for 3 or 4 years. So even if Henry Cavill is super busy as Superman, which I'm sure he will be, and he's in almost every newly produced movie that's coming out, whether it's post-credit scenes like he was in Black Adam, or he's got a little bit part in one or the other, or we get these big combination films, it's not going to keep him busy enough that he couldn't have continued on with The Witcher. It's just not. Robert Downey Jr. was producing movies with his wife. He was starring in movies in between all these things, albeit some of them were very bad, like Dr. Dolittle, but some of them were very good, like The Judge. So, I mean, there's tons of movies that can be done and TV shows that can be done while he's this involved.
Well, maybe Henry Cavill's worried about the mustache gaff, the CGI.
Maybe. No, but what I think is this goes beyond. There's either, I think it's a combination of two things. I think there's other parts. I mentioned to you guys in this text chain that there's rumors that he's going to be in the House of Dragon, that they're at least, that HBO is at least negotiating with him to be in a show. Whether it's, the assumption is House of Dragon because that's their big show. The other thing to think about is he's now an HBO guy because he's DC, which is Warner Brothers, which is HBO. So it's not surprising for him to jump from, hey, Netflix, sorry, love you, appreciate what you've done, because he's done a couple of franchises with them now, right? So he's got Enola Holmes that he's been part of. He's got The Witcher. So now he's moving. I don't think it's that he's abandoning Netflix because he's moving to DC, but I think there might be some writing issues on The Witcher show. I think the writers have taken some liberties. I liked what they did with the first season. The second season was kind of at times. The third season is where things really heat up in terms of the books. And then the books themselves weren't great written after like 4 or 5. So there's a lot of weird shit that can go on if they're going to continue on with it. So if the writers are trying to do weird stuff, I could see him being the high-level nerd that he is, that creating an issue. The other piece that I think is if he does have some of these big shows that he has to commit to, like a House of the Dragon or some spin-off of that, that's the kind of level where you now have DC and all these cameos. You have a TV show that's just as big as The Witcher that will start to get in the way of your schedule. So you have to make sure that you're freeing up things on your scheduling. And so, to me, I think there's way more to it than just he's going to be Superman again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What those things are, I don't know. But I'm excited to see him as Superman, but I'm sad to lose him as The Witcher. I've loved him as Geralt. And I don't know.
It's kind of hard to be filled.
Baby Hemsworth, like, doesn't excite me at all. I would have rather had old man Hemsworth from freaking I would rather had Stubbs come in and play Geralt.
But he's busy with HBO too.
Exactly. But I mean, to me, baby Hemsworth doesn't excite me at all. Like, I'm like, well, I'm probably done watching The Witcher, other than maybe for the podcast.
I don't know if I want to watch it. The other thing I thought was interesting, it's happening right now, the DC board and the 2 new individuals that are kind of taking things up with The Rock and everything, they're going through and trying to figure out kind of what's next. And I saw some articles saying like their core group, they're going to focus on Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and the other 2 names escape me. They didn't include The Flash. I remember that. God damn it, I can't remember the other 2. What did they say? But what I wanted to get to is one thing that you all know listening to us is we don't like The Flash. And JJ hates how The Flash runs. And Ezra Miller, for those that don't know, has gotten himself into a fair bit of tiffs along the last couple of years. And I'm hoping, I mean, never wishing ill will on anyone, but I would love for a rebrand of his character because I cannot stand that guy as The Flash.
Yeah, they got Ezra Miller. They got some issues. There's concerns with them and their extracurricular activities. And I knew there was an issue with them when they fake assaulted this woman at a Comic-Con that like I was like, okay, there's concerns here. Like there's some mental issues. So I hope I hope they get some help because obviously there's some mental, emotional, obviously there's some issues there that need to be taken care of. So I hope they get help, but I also hate them as the Flash. I don't like the way they run. I think it looks stupid. It always has. I've never liked it. I don't like their sense of humor. Like I don't like their delivery. Like I just don't like Ezra Miller. Period. Like I think they're riding fame from being in the Harry Potter universe or
I did
whatever.
not like him in it at all.
But that's what that's where their fame came from. It's not that they're a good actor, in my opinion. I've never seen anything where I'm like, oh yeah, Ezra Miller killed it there. I'm like, nah, they're a moron. Anyway, so that's so I hope they do. Now the Flash movie's going forward, but my understanding of the Flash movie is that it's going to be a Flashpoint type story. So he goes back to save his mom. He screws everything up because he makes all these changes, and then a multiverse is created. If they roll with that, it's an easy out to replace them. Because the multiverse is that way. Here's a different version. We're also in that movie going to have Ben Affleck and wow, my brain just quit. Oh, it's the original Batman.
Christian Bale?
No, before
Val
that,
Kilmer.
Michael Keaton,
George Clooney.
Michael Keaton is in the Flash as
Wow.
as Batman. So you're going to have both of those versions. Again, that multiversal realm, you can run pretty much do anything you want, which is why it's so interesting from that perspective. So, and there's going to be multiple versions of Barry Allen. So that we've seen in the preview. So hopefully they'll make this movie. From what I've heard, it's being received well by test audiences. So maybe it'll be okay, and then they can get rid of Ezra Miller and build a new Flash. Because I love the Flash, the character, but I don't like Ezra Miller.
Coming back to what I said, I found the article. They talk about, I can't believe I forgot one, Superman, and then the one that I was a little surprised on was Harley Quinn is where they want to focus a lot of their attention as well.
That's good as long as it's Margot Robbie. I'm not looking forward to, like I said, I'm telling you guys about the Joker too. Sorry, I liked Lady Gaga in that one movie she did with Bradley Cooper, but I don't want. Margot Robbie's my Harley Quinn. Like she kills it as Harley Quinn. So hopefully and I think with James Gunn, considering he worked with her as Harley Quinn in his, Suicide Squad, hopefully he'll keep her on.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the biggest pieces of news is DC's trying to pony up and go to war with Marvel to an extent. It's been a long time coming, but I remain hopeful to an extent on what they can do.
Me too. I just
2 movies before they fuck it up.
I think with James Gunn, if he leans into his weird, because James Gunn's a weird fucker. If he leans into his weird and doesn't try to copy the pattern of Marvel, I think that's always been DC's problem. Is they saw what Marvel did, it worked, and they tried to recreate that formula, and it doesn't work in their universe. Because the reason it worked in Marvel's universe is because it was funny and it was highbrow and it was. You can throw all these major actors in there and have it be interesting and let them do their thing. DC's got to lean into their characters because they have, as much as I hate to say it, they have the more interesting characters when you remove the X-Men from the Marvel universe. DC has the more interesting characters. So let your characters shine instead of using actors, because that's what Marvel had to do. They had these D-list characters from their comics that they had the rights to at the time. And so they had to use actors to build good versions of these characters.
Good theory, JJ.
DC has great characters. You don't need massive A-list actors to have interesting characters. You just need people that can act.
You make a good point because DC, in my opinion, has some of the best written villains that are mainstream villains that, I mean, just take the Joker, because I'm not a deep comic nerd. I don't even know the other ones I should know. But, like, take the Joker, for instance. If DC came out and said that was going to be a focal point of their focus and I got a bunch of Joker movies, I'd be excited.
Sure. Yeah, they do have some of the great villains. I mean, the Flash.
Or if they got a better Lex
villains.
Luthor again, like
Yeah.
if they found right, I'd be intrigued. I mean, those are just two people off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, their characters just have more depth than Marvel's. They just always have. Outside of, again, Spider-Man and the X-Men are always going to be top Marvel, but they didn't have the rights to them, so they had to get creative and they had to get huge actors to fill it. DC doesn't have that problem. They have characters they have two of the most popular characters in comic book history, period. Spider-Man's top, then it goes Batman and Superman. And if you have two of the top 3 characters in all of comic book history, stop working so damn hard and just do it. So, and it can't be done the same way Marvel did it, because you already have a built-in fan base that know the characters. And if you stray from those characters too far, you're going to have backlash. And that's what they've done, unfortunately, so far in a lot of cases. Anyway, that's my opinion.
I like it. Alec, anything else to add?
Nope. You guys covered it all. I still think they're gonna fuck it up, but
They probably will. If I'm
an inborn pessimist, so
I'm okay with that. All right. Well, with that then, Alec, tell everybody where they can find us when they're not listening to us. Tell us about what's coming.
this is bad, guys. I don't have a prepared prompt for this,
Oh,
so
shit.
we are going off script.
That is bad, because when you're even prepared, it's bad.
Yeah, I
Could
know.
get
So,
worse.
we are getting canceled immediately, JJ. Anyways, thank you for tuning in to our What's New episode here on What's Our Verdict, where we talk about what is happening, what is coming up, what we'll be watching, and what catches our interest. If you are listening to this right now, check out some of our other episodes wherever mediocre podcasts can be found. Regular podcasts can be found, and occasionally where some fantastic podcasts can be found. That being Spotify, Stitcher, Ghana, Apple Podcasts, just to name a few locations. We are What's Our Verdict Reviews. All lowercase. Anyways, stop making me laugh. We are also newly on Patreon, where by paying us money, you can access exclusive content. Special thanks to our current patron, GCDW. I'll be your Huckleberry. And with that, thank you once again for tuning in. Let us know in the comments below if our verdict matched yours. And JJ, back to you.
Love it. Thanks, Alec, for free balling it there for a minute. It was great.
Yes.
With that, as always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!